content over everything.
Content over everything, and we are still here at the Let the Youngers Go protest. We have here Milo, who says people will see his face and know who he is regarding SPAC Nation, and he has a bit of his story that he wants to share about SPAC Nation and talk up about what he feels like something that's going unreported and unnoticed on the press. So what is your relationship with SPAC Nation? I'll put it like that.
I think there is no more of a relationship with SPAC Nation. For me, it's more about raising awareness of what's going on within SPAC Nation and trying to find a way for these young, vulnerable people to find a way out. That for me is my relationship, if you want to call it that. For me, I want to be proactive in educating our young people in regards to what's going on within that church. And I don't even want to call it a church because it's not godly what's going on there. It's ungodly.
How would you describe it?
Ungodly. Un-Christ-like.
And not church, was it like a cult?
If you want to call it that, we can call it that. I mean, when you talk about this is a profit, this is young people committing fraud that they don't even know about. I spoke to a young lady today. She said to me, she's only 16. She had universal credit taken out. 2 children put on an application that she didn't even know about. She was interviewed this week on the caution. She's now having to pay back over £2,000 or £2,000 thereabout because of what's going on within SPAC Nation. That's just one member. And when we're talking about cult, we're talking about young people that are being brainwashed and conditioned into thinking something. So yeah, let's call it that. Because young people...
I was going to say, I mean, for SPAC Nation, I'll play devil's advocate. From their point of view, they say they have been massively successful in getting young people off the street and turning their lives around, teaching them how to set up businesses, learn how to understand things like credit and so on and so forth. And really what we're seeing is people who have not been so successful within SPAC Nation who are walking away from the group now, engaging in something of a smear campaign, as well as rival political organisations also backing them up with that smear campaign. Is that something you recognise?
Okay, let's deal with for me, the less important issue, the political aspect of it. Firstly, when any political party gets involved or aligned with a church, it's always going to become messy. I think the first thing that the Tory party should have done is done their real due diligence before they'd even entertain allowing this to become something that became national coverage. In regards to what you said about the smear campaign, I mean, one person, 2 people, yeah, maybe that is a smear campaign, but we're talking multiple people who have fell victim to fraud, to being scammed, and actually having their eyes open. And what they're doing is talking about their experience. Now, are we gonna tell people they're wrong for talking about their experiences? Are we gonna vilify people because of that? No, we're not. People have the right to speak on their experiences, and the thing is that if more and more people are coming out to say, actually, I've experienced this, I've been a victim of this, we need to wake up and start recognizing it.
How does do you know of Pastor Toby or any of the major prophet, so-called prophets, or
He's Croydon, yeah. Nando's there, yeah.
rearranging sometimes? Do you have relations with, or have you met any of the major people who call themselves prophets or the pastors and so on? And even within that thing of pastor, what does it mean to become a pastor within that nation?
Okay. That's about 4 different questions there, so I'm going to try and break it out. No problem, man. In regards to Pastor Toby, I have met him in the political circles, very briefly. I don't really have an opinion on him in regards to my sort of personal dealings with him. In regards to the experiences that I've known people very close to have had with him and the way that I've seen him conduct his business, I don't believe he's someone who is a man of God. Far be it from me to judge who is a pastor and what qualifies someone as a pastor, but for me, let's talk about first thing. Christianity is not a trend. Christianity is a walk of life. It's a belief in the spirit you're walking. And for me, the first thing we need to look at, these people who have been given pastor status don't even know scripture. You know, a video came out last week of someone saying when Jesus was visited by the serpent in Genesis. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Jesus didn't come around till the New Testament. But this is what I'm talking about. These people have been given positions because of their statuses within communities, and let's be real about this. You know, these people are not afraid to talk about it, so let's talk about it. Their gang affiliations, you know, so they know that they've got influence and sway. So when someone's standing at the front, you know from your area, you're standing there saying this, that and the other, you're more than likely going to go along with that because you're seeing that as someone as a person of influence. You'll believe that Jesus was visited by the serpent in Genesis if you don't know scripture, and that's the worrying thing. Now, if you're talking about what qualifies someone as a pastor, there's a pastoral college in Nantwich. The church I come from, my pastor was there for 6 years. Now, I'm not saying you have to study theology in order to become a pastor, But do you have to know your word? Absolutely. Do you need to be walking in that word every day? Absolutely. Do you need to be someone who's clean and understand the covenants? Absolutely. So for me, it goes deeper than just giving someone title, and this is what's happening. These people are being given title and they're being given positions. But we need to start looking at who these people are that are being put in these positions.
Before we do that, I just wanted to say, try and go in depth on some of the allegations that have been made about them. So the main allegation is around one that you told us about, a 16-year-old girl, which is direct, that was directly fraud, there's no doubt about it. Having children from her universal credit claim, which don't belong to her, definitely fraud. But other than that, what we've heard a lot of is perhaps people taking out loans.
Or the Matt Closer scam.
Sorry, people taking out loans from perhaps unscrupulous companies and things like that. And that's not necessarily fraud or a crime per se, do you know what I mean? If somebody tells you, hey, go and get this loan now, you know, there might be coercion and pressure involved, but is that directly a crime?
Okay, let's talk about it. You're talking about coercion and pressure to vulnerable young people who have got no real understanding about loans, business, credit. I mean, all we need to do is look at how many companies have been dissolved in the last 2 years in relation to SPAC and their pastors. And
How many would you spot a number on it?
I think from what I've counted so far, I've counted 63. But there's others that they're operating, but they're not making any money. They're just there listed at the company's house. They've not published any form of account. They've got no employees. They've got no return on accounts. So for me, you have to start asking the question: what is this fronting? What is this covering? And when we look at what the church released in regards to their yearly spend, we're talking 1.1 million pounds.
And they spent just a little bit over 1.1 million that year. So I wanted to ask you that my next question. Where did that 1.1 million come from, do you imagine? And what was it spent on?
Where did that 1.1 million come from? That came from people's bank accounts, that came from business loans, that came from vulnerable young people. It came from so many, I mean, I wouldn't like to just say those avenues, but it came from avenues that weren't honest, that weren't good sources. Where did that money go? Well, you tell me, because they don't own the Lamborghinis, they don't own the house in Shirley, okay?
You don't own the 2.5 million mansion?
No, he doesn't own it, he rents it, okay? That's a fact, okay? So when these young people are seeing these Lamborghinis, Rolls Royces, Rolexes, all this kind of stuff, how much of this is actually owned and how much of this is just leased? And this is what I was talking to you about earlier, about today's generation are sold by the materialistic, very instant. If they're approached by somebody who they think, yeah, this guy's got a rollie on, this guy's driving a nice car, I want that. That's lovely. You want to attain to goodness. That's great. But the thing is, what you need to ask yourself and understand is, to get that, it takes hard work. People spend their lifetime. But the idea that these put into these young people's heads is that you can make it like that. Of course, but it's not prosperity. You know, there was a young man who sent me a video. I saw his video. He was saying he's £10,000 in debt, but he believes that because he's in debt, that he's now in a stronger place. I say, brother, this is the problem. You've been brainwashed into thinking that. You've got a £10,000 debt. Not Pastor Toby, not SPAC Nation, but you. And the thing is that when this church collapses, which it will, who's going to be there for that young man? Who's going to be paying that £10,000 debt for that young man?
I mean, how did this become so big, do you imagine? And why have so many people turned a blind eye to it?
The media, let's go with that first of all. If you remember the BBC documentary, Reggie Yates recently, but even before that, the Victoria Derbyshire, okay? Media has a big part to play in this. They've jumped onto the hype of knife crime is a prevalent thing in London, absolutely, and we need to do things to tackle it. I totally agree. But what they've done again, without due diligence, is put an organisation on a parapet and said, look, this is a great organisation, blah, blah, blah. And actually, in the space of 2 years, they're almost retracting what they're saying. The Sunday Times have now released an article in regards to the Metropolitan Police are now carrying out internal fraud in relation to what's been going on in the church. So for me, how did the church go? Because young people watch TV, they're influenced by social media. When you see people like Reggie Yates going to SPAC Nation, someone who's a known face, of course that's going to entice young people.
And how much does the music play a role in bringing people in? Was that a big part?
I think TK could probably speak on that better than anybody. I mean, don't get me wrong, Trap Match, I mean, it's their biggest hit, you know, and it's a catchy song. But for me, we've got to look deeper than that. Let's start looking at the hand signals, using the Bible as a gun. Now, if I remember from my scripture, my Bible is my sword. Never remember the Bible being a gun. Okay? And this is the thing. People are taking their own interpretation and understandings of scripture and the word. And this is what's sort of causing these young people to end up becoming lost and misunderstood as to what the word really is.
there was allegations of a trap house being rented out or by or for one of the members. My question is, violence of a trap house means some things are going on within that house. Was SPAC Nation involved in drug dealing or any of these types of situations?
I can't speak directly to say that I saw it with my own eyes. So I'd hate to say yes, that's what's going on. But what I can say from people who have spoken to me and through other sources, conversations, things they have seen, abuse going on in there, drug dealing. I mean, like I said...
Is it abuse? What kind of abuse? Beatings? Sexual?
I mean, you only need to go onto YouTube and see type in Pastor Kevin on YouTube and you can see him beating a young boy in a bedroom with a belt. Now, do you think that that's appropriate to have a young boy? And this young boy is extremely vulnerable. This young boy has, you know, he comes from a broken home, no family. And these are who they're targeting. People who, if I'm being completely honest with you, society's forgotten about. Don't really care about.
How much do you think, so you said you thought the political party was a small thing, but how much do you think is a case of the Conservative Party seeing a success of SPAC Nation and trying to attach themselves to it, or the Conservative Party perhaps having some stronger connections to the SPAC Nation in general and having working? I mean, Sean Bailey obviously is a candidate for mayor. He received some endorsements, it seems, from leaders and SPAC Nation members. Has this been an ongoing campaign for the Conservative Party to try and win over this section of the community?
When you say this section, let's just be completely honest, let's talk about it. The black community, okay? What the Conservatives have tried to do and wanted to do was align themselves with the black community. So what they wanted to do was to jump on the bandwagon. And again, this is blown up in their face. Because at the end of the day, I think it's disgusting, I think it's a sham that first of all, any political party is affiliated themselves with any form of religious group. Because at the end of the day, they should be independent. The fact that they're using their
20-year-old girl for a campaign.
There we go. A 20-year-old girl. I mean, it just speaks volumes, doesn't it? And for me, what I really think has become apparent is the fact that politics is now trying to find its way into our community. And for me, that's not the way to align it in regards to trying to find organisations who they're misled young people or misinformed about. That's not the right way to be doing it.
Hey, move from the camera, man.
Joking.
Chill.
Don't know, brothers.
No, keep going.
Alright, anyways. Sorry, where was you?
It's cool. We're back in it.
As I was saying,
Conservative Party trying to find their way into the black community.
that Conservative Party trying to find a way to do. And so do you think, tell me a little bit about the Jade campaign. Do you know much about that? I mean, what I've heard is that was seen as a key move by SPAC Nation to get themselves into positions of power.
Of course it was. And it wasn't for Jade. You know, Jade was, for me, she was just, and I don't mean to say it in this sort of way, but she was a pawn. That's all it is. You know, I don't want to call him Pastor Toby, because he's not Pastor Toby. Saw this as a power move, a political move to get himself into politics in order to further sort of knit himself into a more powerful position. And for me, unfortunately, Jade didn't see that. And I don't disbelieve that she wanted the candidacy to make Fairfield a better area. But let's look at it like this. She's 20 years old. How well does she really know the community? What is she affiliating and lining herself up with? Okay? When you put yourself forward for any form of political role, you need to be beyond reproach.
How do you feel? Do you feel this was legal? What Jade has said is this the Labour Party, the current MP currently, trying to create issues for her and the Conservative Party by trying to jump on the bandwagon on their campaign?
I think that's just a safe response, isn't it, really? I think whoever wrote that response or whoever told them to say that just sounds to me like there'd probably be a conservative, probably media person. This is nothing to do with Labour. This is to do with SPAC Nation and how they've conducted themselves in their business, how they've exploited young, vulnerable people, and that's all we're doing. I'm not interested in blaming Labour because at the end of the day, Labour didn't decide how many people decided to come out to vote for her.
For sure. I mean, I'm not a Christian, but I can see, I imagine from your passion, the way you speak that you are. So I just want to ask you, as my final question, how, we see within the black community, there's generally this, more in America, but happening a lot more here now in the UK, in the Caribbean, this image of the pastor who is happy to take money from his congregation and live fat and wealthy. How damaging do you think that is to the faith? And what do you think other Christian groups should be doing about this sort of situation right now?
Look, I think first of all we've got to recognise anybody who sets up a church is a charity, so they're already in a tax haven. I think it's about looking at the people who are leading these churches. Remember, the pastor isn't supposed to be living off the people. Okay? So for me, if you how can you explain driving a Rolls Royce? How can you do that? How can you explain living in a £2.5 million house? You can't. What you're doing is you're taking people's tithes and offerings, people giving everything that they've got in the belief they're going to reap. But really, that's not what's happening.
I mean, I'm going to give you the last word, whatever you want to get off your chest. But one thing I'll say, I've heard a lot about this idea of sowing seed and all this sort of thing. And to be fair, if you're not familiar with the language, you might get thrown off. What is the meaning of a lot of these things?
So we talked about sowing seed, which basically saying giving money. It's basic, plain layman term. It says in scripture, you'll reap what you sow. So the belief is when we're giving our tithes and offerings, we're giving a proportion of our earnings or whatever that may be, and we're giving it into God's house. And then that's the belief that money will come back to us, that blessing will come back to us. But let's get past that. Jesus was poor when he was born, and Jesus was poor when he died. Church, it says in scripture, come as you are. The Lord accepts you for who you are. So whether you've got £1 million in your pocket or 1 pence in your pocket, you're welcome in the house of the Lord. So for me, the fact that people have to have something to offer the church in order to get accepted into the church says to me that that's not a church of God.
Last word to you, anything you want to say?
I think for me personally, I just want to say this, there's a lot of vulnerable young people out here, especially within our black community, and we need more black leaders in our community, because the young men at the moment, the people that they're aspiring to, the things that they're aspiring to, they're not long-term gains, they're short-term gains, long-term losses. And we need to protect our young men and our young women in our black community. They're our future kings and queens. And if we continue down the route we are, I worry for them. I would also like to say to the young people who are involved in SPAC at the moment as well, it's not too late to come out. If you are afraid, there are people, there's a helpline. There's enough people out there who want to reach out and support you. Today, for example, for TK, I've come out. There'll be a lot of people who have comments later on, whether that's on Instagram, whether this will be on your YouTube channel or whatever. Okay, but I don't see these people here today. I'm saying this and I mean this. Young people, you're better than what the situation you're in now. You will overcome. So just stay focused, have faith, and know that being a Christian isn't about monetary, what you're going to get back about in regards to what you put in financially. It's about walking in faith, believing that your situation will be better. Me personally, where I come from, it's very easy from my vulnerable situation in life where I came from to become lost. But I had to have faith. And I believe without faith, there's a lot of young people who are lost. And I just want to be clear on this last thing. Remember, the church isn't the building people. The church is the people, okay? The church is the people. So ask yourself one thing. Who are you surrounding yourself with? Who are you allowing to influence and lead your life? But I just pray more than anything you find peace. Because right now, God needs to intervene. Because what's going on is bigger than me, you, TK. This is a community issue, and we need to wake up. Black people, we really need to wake up. It's not a today issue and tomorrow's chip paper bag, yeah? This is an issue we need to stay on. We need to make sure the media is constantly on this. And as far as the Conservative Party goes, you're a disgrace. You're a complete and utter disgrace. And I think the fact that you even had the audacity to put yourself aligned with SPAC Nation just says a lot. And lastly, with Reggie Yates as well, let's just be clear, Reggie Yates' cousin goes to SPAC Nation. Okay, so again, there's a media, and they call it the BBC, I don't mean to swear, but it's the British Bullshit Corporation, because that's what they are. They put nonsense out there, and because they know it's going to be watched, they know people are going to be influenced, and what they've done is they've took advantage of young people and jumped on the bandwagon in regards to knife crime. Knife crime is not going to just be sold within the church. Knife crime is going to be sold within our schools, education, having good role models in our community, but most importantly, having young people having a belief that they're bigger than their circumstances. Because at the moment, all it seems to me is that the knife crime is affecting the black community. It doesn't, and I don't believe in this black on black violence, right? It doesn't exist. Knife crime doesn't have a colour and it doesn't have a face. And that's the one thing we need to get past. What we're trying to do is save young people, but we're trying to save them in the right way. So I hope whoever watches this, I hope it can impact one young person's life, because I believe if we can impact one young person, then we can start by changing a generation.
Respect. Thank you. Respect, Milo. That's love. Respect. Content of everything. Don't watch BBC, watch CRE.
From your belly!
Come, man, say it straight. Man, don't listen to BBC. Man, don't listen to ITV.
Any form of account, they've got no employees, they've got no return on accounts. So for me, you have to start asking the question, what is this fronting? What is this covering? And when we look at what the church released in regards to their yearly spend, we're talking £1.1 million.
And they spent it's a little bit over 1.1 million. Yes, I wanted to ask you that, my next question. Where did that 1.1 million come from, do you imagine? And what was it spent on?
Where did that 1.1 million come from? That came from people's bank accounts, that came from business loans, that came from vulnerable young people. It came from so many, I mean, I wouldn't like to just say those avenues, but it came from avenues that weren't honest, that weren't